So as of March 2020, and in fact, May 2020, we've now done over 493,000. In fact, it's 497,000 in May. So this date is outdated slightly. But this is tests done by an independent research authority, laboratory. So analytical services, Vitas, are actually attributed next to Norway, to the Oslo University. So, and it's very well respected. It's used by people like the WHO, the Olympic committees for drug testing, WADA, all the people that you would consider would need it, including universities such as Oxford and Cambridge, Harvard, Yale. So it's all over the world. This is so highly respected, and that's all they do. They do blood analysis. So as I mentioned, only 5% of the people actually have that ratio of 3 to 1 within Europe. And so I had been taking an omega-3 supplement for 30 years. And so I thought I was going to fall into between the 20% and the 5%. And how wrong was I? And I'm going to show you my results in just a second. So the 75% of people who do not take an omega-3 supplement, they're going to have an average ratio in Europe of around about 15 to 1. And those are people who are vegan or vegetarian will more than likely have a much higher ratio due to the fact that they're unable to eat a sufficient quantity of omega-3 and process it properly within their diet. But the interesting thing is that 95% of the people who have done the test and then go on to use the Balance products, the Balance oil products, within 120 days are near 3 to 1 or better. So I'm just going to take you through mine and my results. And the reason being is because I'd had a heart attack 2 years prior to looking at this product, and I had been researching about how I could improve the inflammation within my body on all aspects. So this was one of the ways that I looked at it. So why is it not moving on? Hang on a minute. So, right, okay. So this is me, 64 when I took the first test on the 28th of May, and look at someone who's been taking an omega-3 supplement for 30 years. And obviously I've just been pouring it down the drain because it wasn't working. It wasn't doing what it said it was doing. And so that's possibly the most pertinent thing is the fact that a lot of fish oils do not work if they do not have the polyphenols in them as well. And so my protection value was 0. That's scary. It should be above 90%. My omega-3 to omega-6 ratio should be 3 to 1 or better. Mine was 14.4 to 1. And my cell membrane fluidity, that means that around the area of each cell, that's a combination of omega-6 and 3 creating a shell around that cell. And that will harden if it's not in the right quantity. So it's, mine was obviously really quite hard at 10.7. And it should be below 4.1. And then my mental strength was 3.6 as opposed to 1 to 1. So how could I improve it? And how would it improve it? And always want to push the results. I checked after, instead of 120 days, I checked after 87. And this was my score. So I'd already improved my protection value from my fatty acids up to 49%. My omega-3 to omega-6 ratio had come down 10 points to 4.4 to 1, which was astonishing. And my arachidonic acid was actually okay. That was not too bad. It was still in the positive area, but again, it needs to be just above that 30% really. But the cell membrane had also dropped. So it's now understanding that it's actually realizing that it's softening that membrane to allow things to be absorbed into that cell and to allow your cell to excrete any waste that it doesn't need. But also my mental acuity, my mental strength had actually improved quite dramatically from 3.6 to 1.7. And I noticed that in a number of ways. So I was able to concentrate for longer. I didn't get that like brain fog that you get sometimes, in the morning after you've woken up and you're kind of still drowsy. So I've been able to go to work at, you know, because as soon as I get up at around about 6 o'clock, and happy to work all day as well. So then I did another test. Now this is the normal test time, so 120 days or thereabouts is, we're saying that that's the time when people should almost 95% of them will be back in balance if they take the Zinzino balance oil. So mine had now dropped to 3.6, so very close into getting that balance right as a 3-to-1 ratio. But look at the difference in my protection. That's gone up to 72%, and obviously the cell membrane fluidity has dropped again to 5.2, so improving that permeability of that cell. But my mental strength had also been able to drop further to 1.4. And that really has had quite a good effect. I've got so much more mental clarity and, as I say, concentration, which is really important as we get older. I'm 65 now. As I said, I've been suffering from a heart attack 2 years prior to doing this. And what I had been able to do after 90 to 100 days, I suppose, was actually reduce my medication and completely come off my drugs that I had been prescribed to. So for me, it was a huge life-changing, you know, kind of result for me, benefit for me. And then this is the final one, which has literally just been done last month. And so it's now 334 days after I first started taking it. Look at the result. I'm nearly all green, not quite there, but nearly all green. So that 98% protection from zero, from you know, having my omega-3s at 3.5 in that first one to 8.7, the omega-6s from 14.4 to 1 to 2.4 to 1 now. So well in the boundaries of being acceptable. And then the arachidonic acid has kind of come down a bit as well. So that's great. So it's all very positive indeed. And then the cell membrane fluidity, that's come down to 4.4. Again, I need to be at 4.1 to have all green. And then my mental strength, again, 1-to-1. So I've got one more small little point to get to that green level. So, you know, within a space of 11 months, I have completely changed my health profile, if you like, to make sure that I'm getting the best out of my nutrition, my food, and, you know, that is all very rewarding. So I hope that's been of interest to you and of use to you. I'm going to stop recording now, so bear with me a second. I can get it to do something. Yeah.